citizens to remove debris and also to help coordinate the volunteer responses. Grateful for the Red Cross and how they have come to the aid of the citizens and so many volunteers in this community. To my right is Director A.J. Gary, our Director of Emergency Management, and his team is on the ground and has been on the ground measuring damage to property, but also to public facilities and to businesses. I am pleased to say that next Tuesday, the Small Business Administration will be on the ground here measuring damages as well and looking to see how they can be of assistance both to homeowners but also to businesses, primarily as is their mission. What we're trying to do today is to see the measure of harm and damage because we have to do an assessment from a state level to see if we can provide individual assistance, to see what kind of public assistance might be available. In talking to the mayor, I'm just so proud of them because they're really handling the response very effectively. But I assured him that if there's anything the state can provide, we want to be able to do that. I was here in Springdale. Of course, this is my hometown. This is where I went to high school, and the mayor and I were visiting. By the way, Judge Wood is here, whose team. I just saw your crew out there working and picking up debris. So thank you for your work, Judge Wood. But as I started to mention, I was here in Springdale at the last major tornado that had loss of life. And of course, we're fortunate in this tornado that we did not have loss of life, even though we had a number that are injured, and we're hoping that they have a speedy recovery. But I've seen firsthand the damage that tornadoes can do. It was a very severe tornado back in 1970 when I actually saw the damage. So I'm grateful that as we survey the damage, while it is such a heartbreak for our homeowners particularly, and I visited with a homeowner that was going through and trying to manage the cleanup process and then meeting with the insurance company. It is just really difficult. And then for those that didn't have insurance, it is even doubly distressing. And so I understand that, and we want to be able to measure the assessment, the damages, and to see whether it meets a threshold that we can provide specific levels of assistance. And so with that, Mayor, I want to see if you had any comments.
Not a lot. I appreciate so much the governor. He was one of the first phone calls I got before daylight last Wednesday. And Director Gary and the Arkansas Department of Emergency Management, the county, surrounding communities, the help and the offers for help have just been amazing. And I can't say enough. You know, if there's good that comes out of things like this, and we all know there is somewhere, and it's watching people and getting to be a part of people caring for their neighbors and other people. And so I want to thank the community of Springdale and the surrounding area. We've got a lot of work still to do. Our public works will continue to pick up, and again with help from Washington County, pick up debris that's been placed in the right of way. And we'll continue to work with the state and with Adam to try and connect people with resources that are needed.
Did I miss any points, Joe? And then, and to the mayor's point, I've unfortunately went to northeastern Arkansas last December when a very significant major tornado went through there, and the resources that Springdale has offered really puts Springdale apart in terms of being able to respond to a major disaster event such as we've seen here in Springdale. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Does it ever surprise you? I know you've had to tour some of these disasters in the past, but does it ever surprise you just how many Arkansans volunteer to help out their neighbors through difficult times?
You know, it doesn't surprise me because I've seen it time and time again. And in talking to the mayor, you know, one day, usually the challenge is that we have so many volunteers we cannot put them all to work. And that is the level of support in a community. They come, they respond quickly, They go to work, they pick up debris, they assist in looking through the property to see what's valuable that needs to be returned. They're there to help our neighbors. And so that is so gratifying to me, and it's not unexpected in a state like Arkansas that has such a generous spirit. Springdale reflects that in the highest level, and they'll be there. Now, we also have the organized efforts such as the Red Cross, and it takes both of those to be able to respond to a disaster, and we see it time and time again, and it makes you very proud of this state.
Governor, were you able to stop by the school, and if so, what needs do you see there?
I did stop by George's Elementary, and of course what's most impressive is that the tornado came, school was out one day, the next day school's back in session. And that is extraordinary leadership and commitment to education. And the community came and removed the debris, the infrastructure that was torn down from the tornado. And so you've got an empty slab there, but school's in operation. I saw kids there, and that speaks so highly of our teachers and the commitment of the administration to get back to doing the business of teaching. They're fully covered with insurance, and so that is good, and so they're going to rebuild as needed, but I was very impressed with how quickly they responded to it, and obviously we're very grateful that this did not happen during school hours that would really endanger the children. When I see the devastation of this storm and realize that we did not have a loss of life, it makes you thankful to Almighty God, and that it kept people safer even under terrible circumstances.
Governor, we've heard of some people being disappointed that you weren't able to get here sooner, so is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
Well, you know, what's important is that we do the assessment, and I've been to storm damages the day after, I've been to them a week after, and you can actually tell more in terms of the damage assessment that needs to be done in the time frame now. And so today is really a critical day as we have our state evaluators coming in, as they're already here, and we have SBA coming in next week. This is an essential time to be here, and I'm pleased to be here not just to do the assessment, but to support the community. Okay.
Do you have any idea how long it might take to get that assessment process done?
It should be completed next week,
Okay.
but you know, this is something that is a concern. You know, I'm governor, I want to be able to come here and to assure everybody that we're going to be able to provide coverage for them for their losses. Well, I mean, the fact is that, you know, there is not a replacement for insurance. The state doesn't provide insurance coverage. And so, and we're not going to be, I think the consensus is, we're not going to meet a federal threshold for damages. It's a very high threshold, and even the tornadoes in eastern Arkansas, we did not meet the threshold for public assistance at that time. And so we're not going to meet a federal threshold here, that's clear. We're still measuring as to whether it'll meet a state threshold so that we can provide individual assistance. And whenever we provide individual assistance, it's not going to be enough to cover all the losses, but it is enough to help. And we'll see if we can meet that threshold. In terms of public assistance, which is for the public infrastructure that's lost, you know, the Springdale doesn't have that level of loss. I mean, we didn't have damage to facilities. If we did, like the school would qualify for it, but they're covered by insurance. And so it's a very technical process that you go through, and we always look for ways to help. Sometimes it's in debris removal, but Springdale's got a great public works system that's got that covered. So we're looking for ways if we can be helpful, but that's a really a critical question you ask, and we hope to have that completed next week, and we'll see where we are.
Just what were your emotions? You know, you've seen pictures and videos, but actually being here on the ground and touring someone's home who lost everything, just what was it like to see that firsthand?
You know, it's heart-rending because you know, the spirit of the homeowner was we weren't injured, we're safe, we can endure hardship, but I know the difficulty that they face. Their home is uprooted. You know, they might have had plans for the next 3 months, and now it's going to be all about rebuilding. And so your heart goes out to them, and you know the pain that they're going through. And this homeowner had insurance, but there's others that didn't, and they're going to struggle for some time. But there will be solutions, and people are helping, and the community will help. So we'll pull together, but you know, you're absolutely right. There's a difference of seeing a picture and seeing it overhead by drone and by air flight, but seeing it in person and talking to someone, even the business owner. I mean, they're tough, they know how to deal with problems, but this is an enormous task to recover from this kind of damage you see behind me. All right, thank you all.
I just want to ask, because I'm from Springdale, how old were you when the tornado hit you in 1970?
I was like a sophomore in college, so I would have been
He was
about
older than me.
yeah, I would have been 18, something like that.